So we have our text all in to the different areas, and the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out what we want the text to actually look like. And I'm actually going to show you two different ways to create what are known as paragraph styles. And the great thing about paragraph styles is that you can make all the changes to the text and have it be applied to other text very quickly and easily. And I'll show you how to apply that as well. And so the first way I want to show you is through the panel, and I need to go to Windows and Styles and then to Paragraph Styles, and it looks like F11 is also my keyboard shortcut. And so I'll go to that Window Styles and Paragraph Styles, and it gets this dialog box up. Whenever I see one of these, I like to bring it on over to this panel over here, or this toolbar over here, and by clicking on it, it opens up the panel. Generally, what is also paired with that are character styles. For this assignment, we're not going to get into character styles, but we will just get into paragraph styles for this. And every single document is going to have a basic paragraph, and this is your kind of default paragraph style. So if it's not anything that you have edited or changed, it will be this. And then to change it, I'm just going to double click on that, and we'll get this dialog box right here. And most of the times you're actually just going to change it right here, and it's just these basic character formats. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about, okay, for the procedure and where I have most of my text, what am I going to want to have? And I like to kind of put this off to the side, and I like to have it some text visible for this so I can kind of see it in action. And so right here I'm gonna go and take a look and see, make sure preview is checked down here, and take a look at how that edits the everything. So I'm just gonna hit Control plus a couple times so I can actually see. That's not really going to be a great text to use. It's not going to be that easy to read. Neither is Papyrus. And so I'll just go through and take a look and try to figure out what is a good text to use. So let's just kind of go through, and it is in a lot of ways easier if you have an idea of what you're looking for, but you can always go back and forth. So let's see. So let's see what Cambria. That one looks pretty good. It is a serif font, it looks like. Yep, it's got the little serifs there, but it is fairly easy to read. And a lot of times with text on a page that you print, you're going to want to have a serif font. That's considered easier to read there. If you want a little more modern, you can use a sans serif, but for the most part, the text we can leave at 12-point font. Something else I might do, I'm realizing that my recipe is fairly small, and so short, and so if I wanted to, I could actually increase the size, make it a little easier to read on the page. Okay. I'm going to leave it not a regular, not italic or bold. Not every font has an option for bold or italic, and so it is possible that those will not show up for your particular font family. So we can go there. All the other things you can kind of play around with. Kerning has to do with how spaced out the letters are, and we can see it kind of changes some of the spacing. I'll just leave it the default. Leading right here, it has a parentheses because it's actually based off of the size of your font. So if you change your font size, it will change the leading. And the reason this is called leading is because it used to be that whenever you would put in letters for the font, you'd want to change the space between the lines, and you would have strips of lead that was put in there in between. And now we don't print so much with movable type printing press, but it's still kind of a name carrying over from that. So that's leading. We can also look at the tracking, and that's our general space between a lot of letters and things like that. We can change things to small case, small caps, and that's just going to make it so you have your capital letters at the beginning, and then it's smaller, shorter capital letters beyond that. We can make everything all caps, and we can do that open type and all of that. So you can go ahead and change those if you want. You can also do so subscript, superscript, and like that. Underline, we know. Strike through are options. Ligatures are actually, there's certain letters that tend to kind of meld together, and so I'm going to change. I didn't update. And I can't see any examples on here, but there are certain letters that kind of connect, and that's another history of the from the printing press, so we can do that. But for the most part, you can just kind of play around with this and make it what you're looking for. I'm going to make it slightly bigger. I'm going to change the font family, but for the most part, that's all I'm going to do for this basic paragraph. And now, if I kind of click around, it should update, and that's where we are so far. Now, very often, we actually want to have a bigger text. So I'm going to create this, and this is going to be very similar, except I just want it to be bigger, and I think I'm going to do bold and italics with that. And so I'm actually going to create a new paragraph style with this button right here. It's a plus sign, and if I double click on that, I can actually base this on my basic paragraph. So if there's a change to the basic paragraph, for example, if I change it from Cambria to something else, it's actually going to show up here as well. The only thing that will not show up are the changes I make. So in this case, we're at 14, and I actually want to increase this a little bit. And I already clicked, I purposely clicked on this text right here, this paragraph, before I made the style, so it would actually apply to at least one of them. And so I've got that slightly bigger, doesn't need to be too big, and then I think I also want it to be bold and italic. And that kind of sets it apart, shows that it's something fairly important, but it's not super big either. And there we go. So there's my paragraph style. I forgot one step though. I want to double click on this, and it's a good idea to change the name of it. So I'm going to call it subheading. And now I've got the subheading, so anytime I see a subheading like procedure, I can actually click somewhere. I don't have to highlight it, but I can click somewhere within that paragraph and then hit the style, and it's going to actually update all of that information right there. Same thing with ingredients, and on for all of the other subheadings that I have. There we go. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create another one. I'm going to show you the next way you can actually create a paragraph style. So in this one, I'm actually going to just highlight the text I want to be a different style, and I'm going to manually change it up here. So I'm going to make it fairly big. I'm going to guess that 72 points might actually be a good size. That's pretty good. I'm going to change the fonts, and when you're looking here, you actually, it's kind of nice, you have some filters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show, I kind of think a nice little script font would be nice. And then maybe not super wide. I'm going to see if there are some thinner ones. There are not. So I can kind of filter through like this. Ooh, quesadilla tacos right there. That's pretty good. And so in this case, this was Edwardian script ITC. So that's an option. I have a few options here, and you can see that because it's highlighted, it's showing up. And I think I'm going to go with this one. It's got the look for it. As you can see, I'm kind of mixing and matching. I've got some For the most part, it is serif, but then I've got this script font that I'm adding here, and that actually can be used to a pretty good effect. You don't want to have too many mix and match of fonts, but if you have ones that are kind of a deliberate change here, so we've got the one here and then the rest are different, that's all good. Just try not to have too very many different fonts. Now that I have this, I can see that next to my basic paragraph I have a little plus sign, and that means that a change has been made. And so what I can actually do there is hit the create new style while I am selecting that text that I've made that change to, and it creates this paragraph style 1 again, and this is actually paragraph style 1 now. And I'm going to change that name, double click on it, and it is going to be my title. Okay. And so from there, if I want to, I can actually change my text to title or subheading. All I have to do is have it clicked somewhere, and now I've got my 3 styles. I want this basic paragraph. I could try out title, or I could try out subheading, but I want to leave that the basic paragraph. So there we go. Those are paragraph styles. They help us to very quickly and easily change the text. What it also allows me to do is, if I decided, hey, you know what, Cambrian might not be the right thing, maybe a slightly different font, maybe Century is the one that I want to use, it's going to update. Here we see that it's actually my subheading now has a problem, and that's because, like I said, bold italic doesn't show up for Century Gothic. It's not an option. So I might actually just change that back to Cambria. And there we can see it actually has those letters within that particular font. So it's all good. There you go. That is about it for the paragraph styles. One last thing for this whole page is to go to File and Place. This is Review. And what I'm going to do is place from my graphics folder, my cookbook folder, and I have a picture right here. And that I had some text selected, so it actually kind of made an issue there. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo. Ideally, you would have nothing kind of selected before you place, but here I can just place that right here. With my images, remember there is a frame, and then there's also the image itself. So the orange right here I can get by clicking here, or I can select the direct select tool, and that allows me to change the image within the frame. And then the select tool, if I click on the outside here and get this changes the frame. But once you've got that set in your master page, you really don't want to change the frame, you really want to change the image. And I'm going to just kind of increase the size of this so that I can kind of crop. This is one way to really quickly and easily crop. We'll make this a little nicer. It's going to say I love tacos as opposed to I love tacos more than you. A little bit nicer for the viewer there. Clicking off into space. There we go. We have a page layout. Don't be afraid of blank space. That's all good. Other changes can be made. I encourage you to put in bullets and numbering and stuff like that. Again, probably try that with paragraph styles for the most part. But this is it. This is the layout. You learned a whole lot, and I'm excited to see your recipes in action.